Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Alif, and we'd like to give a law salute to a beloved brother, Tyree Little, Tyree Allah, the general, truly the supreme angels who physically die, they're only a thought away. Peace.
Regardless where you from, it's where you at. Like if people can't, if people, use a crutch as far as, they ain't got this or they ain't got that, that's, everything else is material. You know what I'm saying? As long as they got their physical form in their mind, whatever they want to happen can happen. And I express that too. Rakim means sun god from the land of the burnt-faced people. Ra means sun god. Kim is another word for Egypt. And it means the land of the burnt-faced people. And my mother, she used to sing on the radio back in Brooklyn, My brother played the piano, my sister sang, my other brother played the sax and piano. I played the sax and drums, so it's like, it helps me a lot when, I sit down and write rhymes. I know different musical backgrounds and things of that nature. And it just, put me that much deeper into it. I got into the Nation of Islam in 1986. What inspired me is, I was at the point where I needed something to, uplift my world as far as, I had to go to the next level. I was tired of running in the streets. I just needed something, to give me a little more self-esteem. And that's what it did. And I'm the type of brother, I couldn't keep a job. I work for about 2 or 3 weeks, get a check, and I'll move on. So, like I said, at that point, I needed Islam, slow me down a little bit and take life a little more serious. At that point, I needed Islam, slow me down a little bit and take life a little more serious, Once you deal with the mental, and everything else speaks for itself. Once you tell somebody, how powerful their mind is, and they think about it, then they start to utilize it, Then they realize, man, I can do this. I ain't got to ask, I ain't got to put my hands together and look up and ask somebody for a job. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go get a job or do what I got to do, to make ends meet. I concentrate on it all the time, Because it's like what I do when I'm writing, I'm putting down my life, And, I don't believe in writer's block. So when I get to the point where, I'm getting slow on the ink, I just put the pen down and I go back out in the world and live. So, I'm not rhyming, I'm just thinking. So when I get back to the paper, I got more life to put down. I try to keep everything dealing with, reality, Just things that take place. Like I can be riding up a block, somebody that's sitting next to me that's riding with me might, think it's just a regular block. But, what I see is like, I see the way a kid is walking up the block and I try to think about what he's thinking about. If I see a kid walking real slow, I can put it in a, rhyme form, his feelings. I can see an area that's like burnt down or whatever, What I try to do is picture life before it burnt down and where the people that was staying there, what happened to them when it got, It's like I try to look through things and, come up with something different. Or I be, I be cooling. They be bugging on me because I be cooling. But, I don't know, probably the lyrics, people listen to the lyrics and they be saying that, I be violent, but I use metaphor, If I say I'm gonna shoot you in the head, I'm gonna shoot you in the head with a rhyme, So some people just say, oh man, your rhymes living kind of trifle, But I use metaphor. It's like sometimes when you gotta express a point, you can't express it no better by saying, you can't say, yo, I'm gonna put this rhyme in your head, I say something like, yo, I'm gonna pull out and bust you in your head, So it's like helping me explain things a little more better. There's nothing glamorous about being a gangster, because it's not really dealing with reality. It's like, trying to be hard and, take territory or whatever you're dealing with. Ain't nothing glamorous about that.
Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in struggle, brother Minister Alif. How do you know that you're strong? You know that you're strong when you know that you're weak. The law of polarity is opposites attract and like repels. Those that have extreme strengths have extreme weaknesses. There's a cosmic balance in universal law, universal science. The Bible puts it in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 10, like this. The Apostle Paul says, "That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses." He delights in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions and difficulties. For when I am weak, I am strong. It's a science there. Love your haters. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, brother Minister Alif Allah. And today we're going to decipher in the cipher prison cell and the cell phone. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that all life begins from a cell. He had in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper a picture of the prison, the industrialized complex system, saying, "Bring us men." And they was coming out gods. Chairman Mao understood that dichotomy. Now, I mean, as wards of the state, you understand that under the 13th Amendment, slavery never went anywhere. When you're in a free society and you're going to work, you're going to school, you're a member of the proletariat, you don't realize that you're actually a slave to the system. But once you go behind those razor wire fences and them concrete walls and they slam those steel gates and you in there with brothers, or if you in a female prison, you in there with sisters, now I mean, y'all realize that y'all got like minds and similar burdens. All the fancy cars, where you from, how tough you think you are. None of that really means anything in the gladiator pit. Now, I mean, you're going to adapt or you're going to die. Now, I mean, you're going to fight or you're going to take flight. That's just the reality of it. Now, I mean, and brothers and sisters endure that type of hell on earth. A year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And some never make it out. Some never make it through it. Some try to get around it. Some lose their mind. You know what I mean? Some lose their lives. Some take their own life. You know what I mean? But the beauty of it is, if you go in that crucible and you're able to maintain your mind, you're able to show and prove to yourself that the black man is God, that the black woman is goddess. You know there is no mystery God. Know what I mean? Now, a lot of people don't understand FOIs in this day and time. I'm talking about brothers and sisters in prisons. They still have it hard. But it's totally different when you're in the prison system during the 1970s, the 1980s, you know what I mean? Because at that time, the Nation of Islam had fallen. So FOIs was no more. Imam Wafdi Muhammad disbanded the FOI. So you got a few FOIs that's maintaining their lessons and holding on to the literature and saying that they sticking with the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. They had to fight physically for their lives. You know what I mean? I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? If you did not bear witness to that mystery God and become an Orthodox Muslim with the Bilalians, you know what I mean? You was looked at as one that was trying to bring back the old teachings, to hold on to those. You was a kafir,
Now, I mean, you were shirk, a polytheist. Now, I mean, because you was holding on to that concept that our people is in a struggle. Our people is at war. We know the devil is right here on the planet Earth. Now, I mean, we're in a war that is a war of attrition, and it's a cold war and a hot war and a war of propaganda all at the same time. It's an economic war. It's a political war. It's a drug war. Now, I mean, it's a educational war. Now, I mean, it's a psychological war. Now, I mean, everything was based on warfare. Now, I mean, everything that you experienced, everything that you thought was in position of war. Now, I mean, so you had to be war ready. Now, I mean, and many of our brothers are still suffering that. Now, picture you know, you have FOIs and MGTs the day that, now, I mean, a lot of brothers and sisters sacrifice a lot for to make it easier in this day and time. Now, I mean, but they had to be a religious war. Now, I mean, there had to be a literal war of Armageddon. The courts would not let literature flow in the prison system. Now, I mean, you know, when we're in prison, a lot of people criticize, oh, they jailhouse Muslims. Now, I mean, who gave you authority to do this, that, and the other? Be like, man, we was writing to the outside establishments. Thousands of us. Now, I mean, we didn't have no minister coming in. We didn't have no captains coming in there. There was no secretaries coming in there. We didn't get no Muhammad speaks, no final calls, none of that. No bean pies, I mean, no lawyers, I mean, not happening. No temple services, none of that. No mosque services, none of that. I mean, but we're around Aryan Nation members that's like, we kill niggas. We're under Catholic guards that's like, we lynch niggas. You know what I mean? We're around people that we trying to live this culture and upraise this flag. We had to come together as brothers. All we had was each other. The only thing we had to lose was our damn chains. Our thing was like, man, give us liberty or give us death. Give us freedom, justice, and equality or give us death. You know what I mean? And our thing is, you know, I had a couple of cellies that physically died. FOIs physically died. You know what I mean? You know, we had to put work in. I don't even get into that. But I mean, we sacrificed for our nation. We was determined to bring back the teachings that Master Fard Muhammad is the supreme law and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his first, last, and only messenger. The lessons, our lessons teaches us in 24 Principles of Islam, number 23, I believe, is set at liberty, captive believer. We was like, we ain't just doing time, we taking our freedom. We doing whatever we gotta do. Now, I mean, whatever is practical, whatever's that, if they blink, we gone. Now, I mean, if they jump, we gonna lay them down. Now, I mean, and that's what type of nation of Islam we had to soldier, and that's what type of crucible we endured, and brothers that I know is still sitting in there to this day. Now, I mean, so I didn't have no minister coming out. My minister was Minister Salim, Willie 30S Clayton. I keep his name alive. I call him the Supreme Minister, because he did supreme works. My captain was Brother Captain Kelvin X Morris, Malik Allah. Now, I mean, Malik Muhammad. I lived in a cell with that man. Now, I mean, I called him Supreme Captain, not because we didn't recognize the Supreme Captain outside or anything, because in there, he was a Supreme Captain. The discipline, the manhood, the teachings, the training, now I mean, the brotherhood, everybody did that part. Now I mean, we had to be our own lawyers. We started our own schools. We got our own money. Now I mean, we knew that the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was true because it worked. It worked so good, I cannot imagine. I've never seen anything that worked better than the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the devil's prison system. and they kicked me out of like 10 different camps. Everywhere I went, I was teaching Albalada. They was like, I'm a problem maker. The way I teach out here, that's how I taught then. I was teaching like this when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? And I never backed down or blinked my eyes or showed any fear to these devils, ever. But they blinked their eyes. I seen so-called gangsters. I see these young boys out here running around, banging each other. When they come in there, and you know what I mean, they so quick to stab each other. They ain't stabbing police. We give it up to the devil. See, we give it up to the police. We ain't had picks like that. You in violation. You in violation. You know what I mean? You know, but I seen. I'm not just minister. I'm lawyer. I'm psychologist. I'm doctor. I'm the businessman. You know what I mean? You got to wear different hats. You know what I mean? You get in where you fit in. But I seen realistic. I seen mob members, gangsters. Now I mean, bro, mister, I need you to represent me at my hair. And I physically used to see their knees knocking, scared to death in front of the hearing examiner. And I'm like, damn, you was a big born liar. You just banged something up in the yard that looked just like you fearlessly. It was like 3 of them, you got your joint, you putting in work. But here you is when it down, you like, you think they gonna give me another case? And why are you scared of the police? Why are you scared of the devil? Know what I mean? Our lessons. Why does he fear now that he's a big man? Know what I mean? So I'm telling you, these young boys, these devils is devils for real. I mean, don't make the mistakes we made. Y'all ain't gotta go through that. Ain't nothing hip out here thinking like y'all going to just hustle in the street, sell drugs, rob each other, shoot each other up, you know what I mean? And just go to jail and just do your time. Nah, homie. You know what I mean? You get money, you gonna get extorted. You know what I mean? It's like ask the mafia dons what happens. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's the real gang. You gonna come across some real gangsters. You gonna come across some gangsters like been down 40 years. You know what I mean? They ain't with no gay stuff and all that. They conscious. They like, man, we trying to get out of here. We trying to do rid of habeas corpus. We trying to get this paper. I'm trying to look out for my queen. I'm trying to get a queen. You know what I mean? I'm trying to reach out to the streets. I'm trying to save my son, my daughter, my mom out there strung out on crack. You know what I mean? Them jokers just killed my little sister, killed my little brother. You know what I mean? It's real serious things going on. You know what I mean? And brothers out here thinking this stuff is a joke. They want to, you know what I mean, just play games with this. This is not a game. You know what I mean? Soldiering, we're soldiers for real. You know what I mean? And as soldiers, you have to understand it's a war going on. Don Balaj Muhammad told us in Message to the Black Man, the devil killed over 600 million of our people. 600 million, not 100 million. You know what I mean? Them jokers have killed like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million in one country. I mean, you know, you look at the census before and after, they be like, man, the colonizers came up in South Africa, they came up in the Congo, they came up in Egypt, they came over in Yemen, they came up in what happened. I mean, you got populations that's decimated. I mean, you had Indians, nations all around them. They wasn't tribes, they was nations. Down the population, and you could hardly find them. Now, I mean, these devils is real, man. Now, I mean, and we can't forget that the messenger position was the lost found mouse lesson number 2. He will give all that he have and all his power to see this day for which he has waited 379 years. Now, I mean, and that's one of the irritating things when you see your comrades, your brothers, the mighty FOIs, and they want to be like in a parade. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be fly. They want to just like put on the nice suits and bow ties, and that's why I don't come with no gimmicks. You know what I mean? That's why I come to y'all just straight raggedy and raw. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the trenches. You know what I mean? Getting in the front line, like we eating out our helmets, because like I'm used to eating in the Supermax. You know what I mean? Wash your clothes in the toilet. I mean, you sleep with the rats and the flying water bugs, and you don't have light switches. You gotta put nails in the wall and put splice the wires from an old cord and put it on there and sit the light bulb on there just to get light. You don't even have light in hell. It's no light in hell. I mean, people, oh, you just turn the lights on, man. We ain't even had fucking lights. That's how real it is. Now, I mean, you will die in the wintertime. Now, I mean, you have to take and rip your mattress open and get inside your mattress just to survive in the hole. And you live like that for 2 years. Ain't no, I mean, dudes, all that soft stuff, so, mentally dead stuff, they put you in a hole, let you ride out 90 days. If you political, if you got knowledge of self, now I mean, I'm in a hole with Mumia Abu-Jamal, Russell Schultz. Now I mean, these dudes is conscious elders, move members that you see on the news, Phil and Delbert Africa. I'm in the yard with them, exercising. Now I mean, this was real stuff. Now I mean, my comrades sitting on death row for years. Now I mean, they was on death row for years. They put me up there. Me, I'm on G Block, Brother Supreme Captain cell right there. JBM leader Aaron Jones cell right there. Mumia cells the first cell. I'm downstairs on G Block in the bottom cell because I'm in population teaching. They said, no, don't put that nigga in the red because he gonna teach the niggas in the hole. Put him on death row. That's how afraid the devil is of the truth. Now I mean, so we have something. We have an invincible weapon that's more powerful than nuclear and atomic bombs. Now I mean, more powerful than any whack, any assault rifle, and that's the black man's mind. They are scared to death of the power that's in your brain. Get that information on them phones, out them phones. Use that phone. If them brothers had these phones in there, man, they'd be like, man, they'd be like, man, we could use this to get our freedom. Now I mean, we could organize an army of the laws. Now I mean, and go set at liberty captive believers. Now I mean, that's me. I mean, have a 1,000,000-man march. Go inside whatever city you in. Go in, and I would be impressed. Go in the fucking penitentiary, 100 deep, 1,000 deep, and just sit down in the visit room with the FOIs. Go up Muncie, go on the female. I know it's MGTs. We used to correspond with MGTs in the penitentiary. MGTs having to stab guards for trying to rape them. MGTs. Now I mean, we sicking dogs on devils in the street for disrespect. They just pull sister head pieces off their head until we start putting our foot up there behind. So the messenger told us this message ain't for the cowards. Now I mean, it's like, yeah, them fucking devils gonna grind you up there. They gonna be against you. They gonna lie. They gonna connive. They COINTELPRO forces. All that's in it. You said your life, your death, and your sacrifices off. Where your sacrifices? Where did you sacrifice? You don't want to sacrifice $1. You don't want to unite. Now I mean, you don't want to speak up. You don't want to stand up. Now I mean, oh, this thing is real. Now I mean, and all the fancy literature, fancy videos, fancy bow ties, garbs, beautiful constructed videos. I don't care if you Afrocentric, Hebrew Israelite, Black Jew, 5%, whatever. My thing is, I'm with all that. Moors, we was all united because we understood something. There can be no peace until the removal of the beast. The struggle continues.